My name is Shannon Seaver, and in this video we are going to learn to see what happens to the mean, median, mode, and the 5-number summary when there's a change in data. Specifically, what happens when you add the same data to all the data points, or if you multiply to all the data points. Take a moment to look through this vocabulary. We will be using these words throughout this video. By the end of this video, you should be able to answer these 2 questions on this page. I encourage you to take a moment to read through them and attempt them. The answers are at the end of the video. Let's first look and see what happens when we multiply all of our data points by a number. In this case, we have a set of data: 3, 8, 11, 4, 1, 5, 3, 7, and 3. I want to know what happens to all of our measures when we multiply each data point by 3. So I want you to take a moment, put this data in order from smallest to largest, and multiply each one by 3. Pause the video now to do that. If you put the data in order from smallest to largest, you should have gotten this. And then if you multiplied each one by 3, this is what you should have had. Now what I want you to do is to make a chart like the one below here and fill it in. Find the minimum, which is the smallest number, quartile 1, the median, the middle number, the maximum, the largest number, the mean, the mode, and the range. Quartile 1 is found by finding the middle of the first half, and quartile 3 is found by finding the middle of the second half. Finding all these values, you can actually watch one of the earlier videos to find out how to do this. From the original data, my minimum was 1. My median was 4. Remember, I found that by crossing out all my numbers, and I ended up with the number 4 in the middle. So here we have the number 4. Here's the number 4. Now I needed to find quartile 1, and by canceling out, I found that these 2 numbers were in the middle of the first half. If I add those 2 numbers together, that's 6, and then divide them by 2, I got 3 again. So that is my first quartile here. I'm going to do the same thing with the third quartile. I'm going to cancel these out as I go, and I found that 7 and 8 are both in the middle of the second half. 7 plus 8 is 15 divided by 2, and that's how we got 7.5. The max was the largest number, is 11. The mean in this case, if you add all the numbers up and divide by the number of numbers, which are 9 of them, you will get 5. The mode, remember, is the most. The number you see the most. And in this case, we have 3. And the range is the max minus the min. So we have 11 minus 1, which is 10. In our change data, we have multiplied each variable by 3, and we have this. What we want to do now is to find all the same values and look at how they've changed. We go through the same process that we did before. Our minimum value is a 3, so that is indicated there. Our median here is a 12. That's the middle number of all the values there. Our first quartile is the number located here in the middle of these 2 numbers, which is 9. Our third quartile is the number located between these 2 numbers. It's 22.5. So I got that one by adding 21 plus 24 and dividing by 2. And 33 is our max. The mean was 15. The mode in this case is now a 9. There's 3 9s. And the range, 33 minus 3 is 30. So, how did our values change? Notice that each one was multiplied by 3. So anytime we multiply each of our data points by a number, our number summaries, our values, will also be multiplied by 3. What do you think would happen when you divided? Well, same thing. All of our values would also be divided by 3. Now let's take a moment to see what happens when we add a number to all the data points. Let's add a 5 to each of our data points. Take a moment now to do that, and then fill in the chart below. Notice that we already have the top row filled out because we did that with the last problem. Here our new data, since the data is right here. So we added 5 to each one. And notice that the minimum is now 6, the maximum is 16. The median is now 9, and so on. The one thing that you really should notice is that on each one of these, 5 has been added to each value, just like the data points. But notice that the one value that did not change was the range. The range, because the maximum and the minimum both changed, the spread is still the same. It's still only 10. So to conclude, when you multiply and divide by a number, all the values of summary, the 5 summary values and the mean, the mode, the median, all of those are also divided by 5 or multiplied by 5 if that's the case. If you're adding or subtracting by a number, same thing. They all change by that number. Either they're subtracted by the number or they're added, except for the range when you're adding and subtracting. The range will remain the same. Here are the results of the earlier problem.